Hi everyone, this is a video of me doing my Rapunzel nail art. It is based on the floating lantern scene which was in the movie. I absolutely love this scene, so I just had to recreate it on my nails. So first off, I did a little gradient on my nails from pink to purple and purple to pink to reflect the colors of Rapunzel's dress. I'm creating a little line on my nails because that's where I want the sea level to be. And I wanted to create something like an illusion of fog in the distance. And I'm actually gonna cover it later with a kind of purple, but I want to make the colors pop and I want to like be able to diffuse it a little bit. So I first off started with a base in white. So now I'm creating the Corona castle in the background, which is like a beautiful dark purple because it's so far away it needs to be a little bit darker than the foreground. So this nail is gonna feature the castle in the background with a little bit of fog behind it, and I'm gonna make a tiny little ship in front, and then in front of that ship I'm gonna make the boat where Rapunzel and Flynn were sitting and singing. If you want to know what polishes I specifically used, please drop down a comment and I will look it up for you. So now I'm going to create a little ship in the background, which is going to be a bit darker because it's so far away, it tends to have a little bit more shadow to it. So that's why it's that dark of a color. So creating water, I had to like think of what would be a good way to make it a little bit more reflective without directly using dark and light blues in it because I did want to keep the pink and purple theme that was going on. So I applied a little bit of a blue glitter that was see-through. So it adds a little bit of shine and reflects in the sun, which is really pretty. Next, I am making Rapunzel and Flynn's boat where they were sitting in. So, this boat scene is actually one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I think it's so beautiful, and the graphics are amazing, but also the song, I See the Light, is one of my favorite songs to listen to sing. It's just so beautiful. I know there's a Rapunzel ride in one of the Disney parks, and I need to be on it. I love it. So, my nail polish journey started when I was really young. I used to use my mom's and sister's nail polish supply because they had a lot of nail polishes from the drugstore, from the market. And I remember the quality used to be so bad, it took ages to dry down. So here I am adding a little bit of white to highlight the boat and to create the inside of the boat in a way. Adding some more lines to highlight the boat. And now I'm gonna start creating shadows of where Rapunzel and Flynn would be in the boat. So on the left is Flynn and on the right I'm making Rapunzel, which is not very clear from here. But I'm gonna create an illusion of her having a bit longer hair. And now I am creating the sea with a little darker purple. The thing is with hollow taco polishes, the quality is so good that it dries down so fast. So you kind of have to act fast, and it dries down on your brush as well. So you have to like keep on cleaning your brush so it doesn't build up too much polish. So here I am creating some shadows on Rapunzel and Flynn and putting a little lantern in between them. I'm also creating a lot of lanterns in the distance, and because they're so far away, just little dots are fine. But for the ones that are closer and nearer to what we can see, they look more like rectangles. So I'm creating a little bit of bigger rectangles, so it creates an illusion of a whole lot of lanterns from far away floating towards the front. Just keep adding little dots because we like a lot of lanterns and it makes it more magical, just like in the movie. I actually love that you have a photo opportunity in Walt Disney World where you can hold a lantern and get a picture with it. I did that once and it was amazing. It's still one of my favorite pictures ever. I'm also adding some orange to add a little bit more depth to the lanterns and adding a little bit more dots because I was not satisfied with the amount of lanterns. The boat also has a little lamp hanging on it, so that's that. And then I am filling in the fog with a little bit of lavender because the white was a little bit too clashing, so trying to blend it a little bit together so it looks a bit more mystical. And next up, I'm gonna make Rapunzel's tower. So the gradient I actually created with just two colors, just a pink and a purple on a sponge and just dabbing it on my nail. I actually use this latex from Holo Taco, which you can put around your nail bed, and any excess that gets on it from the sponge dabbing, you can just peel away, and it's actually really, really easy. So the tower is gonna take up my complete nail, so I'm dragging it all the way down to the bottom. And in the end, I will also add her hair all the way to the bottom. I've actually been using one brush the entire time. I just clean it every time whenever I use a new color. And I use this one because it's the smallest brush I have and it's really precise. And yeah, I can do anything with it, like dots and lines and just everything. So this is the door to the tower. And I'm gonna create a little bit of more shadows in there. So I really like to match my nails to my outfits because I'm that person who needs to have like matching earrings, matching hair accessories, matching shoes. So why not nails? Next up, I'm gonna add some green on her tower as well as a little bit of light green so it has a bit of contrast. You can actually see Rapunzel's tower at Walt Disney World, and it's amazing. The whole bathroom place is amazing. That's also where the photo opportunity is. And now it's time for Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair. And I'm gonna move on to my next nail. So this nail was actually the most challenging nail for me. That's because I'm really bad at faces. Like, faces have so much detail in them, but also emotion, and it's really hard to recreate for some reason, especially on such a small nail with, very quick drying nail polish that doesn't really move, as you can see right here. I'm also making her dress. So this is meant to be Rapunzel looking up. When she's in the boat, she's looking up at the lanterns and adding some pink for her shoulders. I used to keep her face, or like faces in general, blank because I really struggle with um, adding details to faces. Like, it's really hard to do that in such a small nail. So I used to just stay away from it and just keep it as it is because I was afraid of ruining it. But I gotta force myself to just keep trying because if you're not trying, you won't get any better at it. So just keep doing it even though you're not satisfied with it or you don't like it. But if you don't practice, you won't get any better. Now that I think of it, I'm actually really bad at making faces on paintings as well, like on canvases. So maybe I should start painting a little bit more as well. It's been a while. So in this scene, Rapunzel is looking up with like some kind of admiration in her face. So I'm trying to make her eyes look really big and her mouth a little bit open so it looks like she's smiling. I am also adding a little bit of white dots in her hair because that's where I'm gonna create the flowers in her hair. In this scene, she had the braided hair that was done by all the kids. I am starting off with white because that does make the colors pop a little bit more. So what I am doing is just adding colors of flowers that I want in her hair and just creating little dots so it looks like flowers. And just keep some colors spaced apart so it looks nice and cohesive. And the white I used in the beginning also functions as like the flower bud. So she also needs a little bit of lipstick. You can tell I'm struggling with this as the nail polish has already dried up on my brush. I'm also adding a little bit of green for her eyes and black for her pupils. There's this little hair that's sticking out of my brush, so I'm using that to create some eyelashes as well. And lastly, to create some depth in her hair, I am using a darker yellow slash orange, and that was it for her. So I really wanted to create a Pascal as well, and because he's always, well, not always, but usually sitting around on her shoulder looking not amused, I decided to create a little bit of her shoulder in the background. So the yellow is her hair and the purple is her dress, adding some pink to create her shoulder and adding a little bit of green for Pascal. I'm gonna start off with the silhouette of his face at first, and then I'm gonna create his body. I'm thinking one time I should also do Pascal in Rapunzel's dress. I think that's such a hilarious scene. It would be amazing to have on my nails. So here I am creating his body. It's like his paws are behind her shoulder and his little front paws are on top of it. I'm using a darker green to create the silhouette of his eyes. And then I'm gonna attempt to make him look not amused, which is very challenging. Creating his jawline. And I'm just gonna outline his body here so it stands out a little bit more, adds a bit more depth to Pascal. It doesn't have to be like too pretty, like you get the idea of what we're trying to create here. I'm also adding the little swirl he has in his tail. And now onto his eyes. He has brown eyes, so I'm starting up high because he's looking up and looking annoyed. And now I'm just gonna add the pupils, and that will be it for Pascal. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. These are the finished nails and I'm actually really happy with how they turned out. Thank you for watching me sparkle.